Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And I'm back with What If Naruto Universe had quirks. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out What If Naruto was a prodigy from the Uzumaki, Uchiha, and Senju clan over on Anime King guys. And stay tuned for a movie coming over Anime Prince. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, what is so we jump right into this brand new episode. Don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can reply and talk back to you all. So without further ado, let's jump right into it guys. Begin now. So the last time we left off, Naruto was called by a mouth. Yes, it is exactly how it sounds. The person was able to break their body apart with their quirk, it seems, and send them to different areas, as he was called by Orochimaru. Arriving towards the location, Naruto saw the person reforming together as it was a guy. Silver hair and glasses, it was Orochimaru's subordinate. The snake saw him and then finally showed up as Naruto noticed that there were several other people in the area, as he did not say anything. Orochimaru came to speak with him again on the decision of him joining him, as Naruto was still not yet giving him an answer of yes or no. However, Orochimaru waved his hand as Kidomaru, a spider quirk user, came down. Kidomaru then proceeded to drop something on the ground. That something was an individual. Orochimaru then told Naruto that this person possessed a quirk to read the mind and soul of someone, find out the truth of your thoughts. It just needed 10 seconds of full contact with the person's skin. Once those 10 seconds were up, you could ask whatever question you please. The person's mind would not be the wiser, however their consciousness will still be there, so it wouldn't be wise to attack the person in that state, especially if they were a veteran ninja. As Naruto realized why he was giving him this, Orochimaru also told him something that shattered Naruto's world. Of all the heinous things his father has done, Orochimaru told him that Mizuki, that one that tried to kill him, had no contact with the outside world to sell him to anyone. That left Naruto wondering, did his father send Mizuki to get rid of him because he was ashamed? Shame of him being his son? Naruto did not know. As he took the quirk, without hesitation, Orochimaru smiled at that as he told Naruto that he will be in contact before he slip away. Meanwhile, Mikasa made her way. As she arrived to see Naruto, Naruto was shocked that she knew that he was out here, because Naruto was going through a turmoil thinking that his father really sent someone to kill him before all of this. Had the man really saw his life as nothing? She told Naruto that she felt the connection between them. She felt his despair, she felt his anguish. That is why she was out here. Naruto tried to ignore her, but her words hit him hard. The things that she said about him being alone and having no one, he shouted at her as he asked her why she cared. She said she did not know, but they were not friends, so he can do as he like. However, it's best if you wise up. Breaking down now will not help anyone. As she made her way, they were given 2 weeks to prepare for the finals to come. Upon those 2 weeks, Mikasa made her way home, as she told her mother and father everything about the whole incident. After able to witness what happened because of the shared connection they had, both Konan and Nagito was able to see in her mind as well, to view the memory, and they saw what Naruto went through, the mistreatment, the hatred. They knew that a lot of people in the world went through things like this, but Konan really despised this treatment. Maybe it was because she was a mother now. That is why she hated this treatment so much. As she looked towards her beloved daughter, knowing that, Quirk or not, she would never treat her like that, ever. She then spoke to her daughter alone and told her that she seemed to have a crush on him. Mikasa denied this, yes, she denied it. They were not even friends. It was just because she felt she didn't know. Sad for him, that is why she was helping him, she told them. However, Konan saw something else. She saw a different glimpse in her daughter's eyes. However, this was something dangerous as well. This boy not only was a very powerful and chaotic person, he also had the ability to rid anyone of their quirks. And his mindset is not stable, so it's best if she did not interact that closely with him. However, she told him that she will be fine, as they trust her to do the right thing and not do anything stupid. As 2 weeks' time they will be there as well. She knew that her mother and father and another group of people were up to something big that will revolutionize the world, change everything to come. She's known that for a long while now. However, after being shown the wickedness and how truly broken the world was by her father, she realized that their plans and ideals were correct. This world needs to change, otherwise it will drive itself into war and chaos once again. And the war will just continue over and over, the cycle that can never be stopped. When the 2 weeks passed by, Naruto watched as everyone came. The first to arrive was Minato and the higher-ups. His mother also came as well. She hugged him, pretending like everything was okay, which in her mind it was. When Naruto asked to speak to Minato alone, Menma was pretty pissed off at that, even Mito as well, seeing that Naruto was taking the shine away from them. As they were used to be the favorites, now Naruto was. Naruto hugged his father after asking for one. When they started to talk, as Naruto was able to activate the quirk, the things that Naruto heard almost ripped his heart apart, as Minato admitted because of the quirk, saying that after the graduation, he was going to go out there and be a disappointment for his name, so he wanted to get rid of him. That is why he sent Mizuki to get rid of him. But it actually brought him something good, a power that he can use. As Naruto found out that he also took his DNA and blood to try and recreate his quirk so that he could use it to make Konoha great again, and use it for himself as well. Once he was done though, Naruto pretended like everything was alright, despite the anguish that he was feeling. He had to drop to his knees after Minato left, as he controlled himself. It did not take too long for the others to arrive though, as the place was filled with people. There seemed to be so many people around. It was finally the day, the big day for everyone to show what they were worth. All of them were gathered, as Naruto was being watched, but not by who you would think, but by Itachi. Itachi and several other Uchihas were there. Not to mention people from the rain, people from the stone, people from all over. Oniki, the Raikage, Raza, and Yagura and Minato all gathered in this neutral nation, as they all was there to witness the greatness of their own village, to watch as their own village members show what they were worth, as everyone wanted to see who was the top dog. Once again, people believe that Konoha would win. After all, they've been pulling it for the past few years now. As Naruto stood where he was, his thoughts were dark, decrepit, the things that he would do, and the quirks that he was going to steal. As he glanced over towards the son of Raza, Gaara, a tailed beast was still inside of him, making him extra dangerous and his quirk exponentially powerful. However, as Naruto saw the board and his name popped up, his name was next to Gaara in the third slot. That brought a wicked, chaotic grin to Naruto's face. This was going to be fun, he thought. So that was basically the last part we left off. For this, we jump right into this new episode. Begin now, guys. Naruto glanced down towards the stadium, as he and the others that were not going to be fighting at the moment were told to go up towards the contestant booth. Down in the arena was Menma. He was the first name on the first list. Him, along with a guy from the Kira team. His name was Toji. Toji had a quirk called Bat Boost. The quirk allowed the user to have a turbine-like protrusion on their back that allowed them to boost at high speeds. Menma was smirking as he glanced up towards the Kage's box, where he saw his father looking down towards him. He was gonna show once and for all that he was better than Naruto. Just because he could steal quirks doesn't mean that he was anything. As he glanced up towards the contestant booth, seeing Naruto's eyes looking down towards him, he snarled in anger. Mifune stood there between the two of them. Are the both of you ready? Both Toji and Menma nodded. Alright, begin. With that, Mifune backed away from them. Toji cracked his neck. It's best if you give up, he said. After all, You're gonna lose. Wouldn't want to shame you in front of your daddy. Menma narrowed his eyes. What? You think it wouldn't be easy to find out? You are Menma na Mikasa, aren't you? Said Toji. As Menma simply smirked. And what's so funny, you fool? Well, you think that you would be the one being victor today, when you don't even realize the fight is already over, said Menma, as he teleported behind Toji. However, before Menma could strike him down, Toji used the booster and shot forward, dodging Menma's strike. Well, next time, maybe. Toji turned, but Menma was no longer there. Toji brought his arms up and blocked a brutal kick that slammed right in his guard. His feet were blown back by the force as he was forced to stagger. Toji blinked, but Menma was no longer in front of him. Everyone watches Menma reappear to his side and slammed a brutal fist right in his gut. The fist caused Toji to stagger back as he winced in pain, holding on to his stomach. Menma rushed forward to end it until Toji used the turbine on his back to shoot up in the sky, going way above Menma. You fool, he said, wincing as he spoke. You thought it would be over that quickly. Well, you're wrong. You won't defeat me. I will be the one. Menma was gone. Menma appeared behind Toji, teleporting there before he dropped a brutal kick in his back. Toji cried out as he was sent spiraling. Menma flashed right underneath him and turned and slammed his heel in his face. Toji bounced right off the stadium as he slammed right into the wall, roughly. As Menma walked towards them, chains slowly coming from his hand as he shot forward. They wrapped around Toji before they slammed him into the ground, quite brutally. In terms of other members, going up against someone like Menma or Mito, they were ridiculously strong. After all, they were trained by some of the greatest of the Hidden Leaf, so Toji stood no chance. The Mizukage Gaara did not like that as he saw one of his shinobis defeated little to no effort. Minato had a smirk on his face, a smirk that seemed to piss the other Kages off, but they kept their mouths shut, not saying anything. Over towards the contestant booth, Naruto said nothing as he leaned up against the wall. His eyes were closed. That is when he felt someone appear in front of him. Naruto did not open his eyes. He just said one word, move. The person in front of him did not though, as the person smirked. A smirk that was filled with nothing but arrogance and cockiness. The redhead child in front of him was none other than Gaara. Gaara was the prize and pupil of the Sun. After all, he possessed one of the strongest quirks known to the village. His Sun ability was like his father's, but so far he was so young and yet surpassed his father's in certain areas as well. With his quirk, there was no telling how far he can go, as his quirk would just continue to grow in strength and strength until he became one of the greatest. While his sister had a quirk to break objects apart and use them as weapons. Any object, as she can break them down to a microscopic level and use them however she liked. The floor, a wall, building, anything she liked. While his brother had the ability for tape. While it was not the greatest quirk, Conqueror has used it in a way for it to become rather, well, outstanding. But Gaara was the prize. However, Gaara was looking towards his opponents. Years of being told that he was the best and the praise from everyone got him really cocky. You should just give up, he said, not listening to Naruto's warning. There is no way in hell that those whips of yours can even hurt me in the slightest. And besides, it will be better if I don't humiliate you in front of your father and your mother. So why don't you just give up before I put you through hell, Gaara said. After all, I'm a good guy, and I'd rather not beat someone that is far beneath me, he said, looking towards Naruto, who still had not yet opened his eyes. It was then that Naruto's eyes started to crack open. Gaara narrowed his as he saw hate in Naruto's eyes, but it was not directed towards him. However, his speech seemed to piss Naruto off. I'm gonna kill you. Gaara blinked. What was that? Naruto stepped forward, so they were rather close. You heard me. When we fight, I'm gonna kill you, said Naruto. Gaara scoffed, not taking the threat as bad as it was. You wish. But just for that comment, I'm gonna break you, said Gaara. I'm gonna make you wish that you never participate in one of these tournaments ever again. As he then proceeded to walk away, smirking as he did the entire time. showing off nothing but arrogance. Mito and Sasuke and the others had glanced over towards that little conversation as Naruto closed his eyes back and leaned up against the wall. Misaka, who was a distance away from them, was watching them as well. She did not say anything as she leaned against the opposite wall over to the other side. Naruto's eyes met with hers as he seemed to crack open one of his eyes. They stayed like that for a good 5 seconds before he closed back his eyes. As she looked at him before, she just rested herself, preparing for her upcoming fights. Her opponent would be none other than Mito Namikaze. As she glanced towards the girl, Misaka felt hatred for her, anger. Maybe it was because of the feelings that she got from Naruto. Unlike her parents, when her father searched her memories to see what Naruto went through, they did not receive the feelings. That is why she felt so much hatred for Mito over there. She was gonna make her pay. Despite having nothing against her, she just wanted to put her in her place. As she prepared herself, another reason was to show the world that it is not only the great nations that were strong. Minma made his way back up to the booth, not needing any medical help. As he walked over, he smirked as he looked over towards Naruto with a snarl when he saw Naruto's eyes close. Names were called: Kiba Inazaka from the Leaf and Samui from Kumo. The Raikage smirked at that, ready for Konoha to witness their first loss. Minato said nothing at all as the Raikage's smirk showed that he had full faith in this girl. Samui calmly made her way down there. Arriving on the scene, Kiba was walking with Akamaru as the puppy was rested on his head. Mifune asked if they were ready, as they were told to begin. The moment the match began, Kiba looked at her, as he looked at her from head to toe. "Well, aren't you cute?" he said. "Not to mention, rather developed for your age." She looked towards him and tilted her head. "Are you talking about my chest?" she asked. "Well, not to be too brash, but yes." "You're a pervert, aren't you?" she said. "What? Of course not. I'm just an admirer of the female form. Can you blame me? Look at yourself." Hinata was not pleased with that as she stood where she was. Hinata was bossy, and she loved to have people under her control. Kiba was one of those that were under her control, despite not going out with him. In his mind, he believed that they were something together. But she was really, controlling him, telling him what to do, as he was that much infatuated with her. However, seeing him flirt with another girl truly pissed her off, as she was in control and she didn't like for control to be taken away from her. She did not like it one bit. In fact, it angered her to no end. Kiba, who did not know these thoughts, kept on smirking at Samui, who seemed to be smirking back. However, he did not feel the tension. She brought her hand up. "I hate perverts." Her hair, that was rather long and, it seems to be mixed with flowers, extended beyond the normal rate. Her quirk was an extension of her hair. Her hair shot out like vines, they were like plants. Kiba saw the gigantic thing rushing towards him as he tried to jump away, but a vine snagged onto his leg. Before he knew it, he was lifted off the ground as he was sent sailing, Akamaru being thrown off his head. He underestimated her, and he did not prepare himself. As it was just too much of them, he reached out and tried to tear it off, but another one grabbed his hand, and another one grabbed his leg. The next thing he knew, he saw the ground. His face made contact, bam, slamming him down hard. She then proceeded to throw him right into the wall. Kiba slammed into it face first, as he was out cold. Kurenai sighed. He let his guard down, thinking that she wasn't a threat, and look what he got, as she shook her head. Samui was announced the winner. The Raikage's smile would not leave his face. Minato did not say anything, nor did he react, as he then glanced up towards the booth, seeing Naruto. Naruto's eyes were closed, not really paying attention to anything or anyone. As the time will come very soon. Yes, very soon, he thought to himself, with a proud smirk, knowing that the others would be shocked, and once again Konoha would show the other nations that they were number one, and they were never going to be leaving that spot, ever. As for Naruto, he was calm in his mind, as he could feel each and every quirk. His body was like a conductor, reaching out, trying to connect to everything, as Naruto could feel their quirk. However, his eyes roamed down towards where the civilians were. There was a couple. Naruto could tell that something was off. He wasn't sure if they were used in disguise or not, because they were not normal. No way in hell they were normal civilians. The man had more than one quirk. It felt off, it felt like there was a bunch of quirks jumbled together. Another one? Said Naruto to himself, as he couldn't believe there was another person out there, like him or even a snake Sanin. While Orochimaru does steal quirks, he did have a lot. And this man, he had more than one as well. Who the hell was he, Naruto thought to himself. He had no idea. There was so much things that he did not know. Damn it. While he was in his deep thought, more members went up against each other, as some fail, some succeed. Naruto was not hearing about these matches though, they did not intrigue him. That was when he heard his sister's name being called. However, what caught his attention was Mikasa, as she made her way down there. Slowly but surely, both of them were in the ring. In the stands, Naruto noticed that the couple that he was looking at before, their smile became infectious. Strange. Did they know her? Naruto wondered to himself. As Naruto's mind started to work fast, remembering that she had more than one quirk, could it be that these people were related to her? He still did not know how she had more than one quirk. After all, they never really talked for her to explain that much. Nor would she, Naruto believe. After all, it seemed to be some sort of secret. She seemed shocked when she actually released it. That means, this man down there was probably her father, and that woman was her mother. But why hide their features? Something was going on here that he could not understand at the moment. Naruto glanced as he saw someone looking at him. It was the older brother of Sasuke. He was watching him. He did not avert his gaze, he looked at him. As Naruto did not turn his gaze either, not afraid to meet his eyes. However, Itachi simply smiled at him. To this day, Naruto still did not know what was his quirk. He heard many times how powerful his quirk was, but he never heard someone mention exactly what was it yet. But why was he watching him? That look, that smile. Could he possibly know more than he was letting on? After all, why was he looking at him if he did not know something? His attention was drawn though, as the fight was started. Seeing the look on her face, as Mito saw how serious this girl was, she did not even know her, but there was a snarl on her face before the match even starts. "What's wrong? Did I upset you?" said Mito, in a sarcastic tone. Mikasa did not say anything. Instead, she rushed forward. Seeing her coming, Mito teleported behind her and thrust out her hand. However, her hand went through. What the hell? Nothing. Mikasa's body had opened up, revealing paper. As Mito ducked under the swipe, that nearly knocked her head off. The force that she swung it with was nothing normal. Mito flipped away as she backflipped away. That is when she noticed something on the ground. She teleported in mid-air before her hand could touch it though. Looking down, she saw that it was papers. The papers then folded into shurikens and shot into the sky at blinding speed. She teleported back down to the ground. However, the moment her feet touched the ground, papers wrapped around as she looked down. Not having the full access of her quirk because it did not fully develop, she wasn't able to do what her father do. After all, if Minato was faced against this, he would simply teleport the papers. However, her quirk was not that advanced just yet, as she was still growing and so was her quirk. Quickly thinking though, she sliced them off with a kunai. As the papers were tough, she had to enhance it, sending chakra down into the kunai as she clashed against them, giving Mikasa enough time to appear behind her, literally materialize out of paper, and strike her in the back. The force blew her away, but chains slammed into the ground, pulling her back towards her. Both girls then engaged in taijutsu as their fists met. The fight was vicious, unusually vicious for two people that did not know each other. As Mito ducked before teleporting behind her, as she thrust her kunai to stab her in the back. However, a arm made from paper grabbed onto the tip of the kunai, holding it tight, allowing Mikasa to spin around. But Mito was already gone as she appeared above her. She then dropped a heel kick right in her skull. The attack slammed down hard on her, but Mikasa's body burst. Hundreds of sheets of paper seemed to surround the entire area. They started to spin. Mito glanced around before she shot her chain out. Her chain started to multiply one after another, creating a giant barrier trapping Mikasa inside. As the people could no longer see. Not even the Hyugas, because the chains, the chakra from them were disrupting even the vision of the Hyugas. "Now you're trapped," said Mito. And you're all mine. I must say, I wasn't expecting to fight someone so vicious in my first match, but it doesn't matter, because I win. It was then that Mikasa started to laugh. And what's so funny? Or have you lost it because you realize there's no escape? Papers were fluttering in the area, trying to escape the chains, but they could not. You can't leave. Oh, I was not trying to leave. Because you don't realize something, do you? You say I am trapped, but you're trapped as well. What? I created this. Why would I be trapped? Think about it. I've seen how your quirk work. Why do you think I will send my papers after you? To see how you teleport? It's your eyes. You use your eyes. It was easy to figure out because Mikasa had the memory, but she wouldn't tell her that. Once you can see where you want to go, you can teleport there rather easily. That is why. Now you cannot see anywhere outside of here. And the real me is safely away from this location. What? And you should know something, my papers aren't just for attacking without any modification, such as... Her body started to light up with seals. Exploding seals. Oh no. Boom! The entire thing exploded. A violent shockwave resonated through, as all the chains seemed to pull back in. Kushina's eyes went wide. Mito, she thought. However, her best friend Mikoto placed a hand on her shoulder. I'm sure she's alright, she said. Come on, you know how tough she is. Kushina looked down there as she watched. When the smoke cleared, Mito was badly bruised, as she was coughing. Luckily, she had pulled her chain in at last moment and used it to surround herself so she wouldn't be completely blown to pieces. That is when the real Mikasa came in, as she flooded herself together with papers. She narrowed her eyes towards the girl. She had been moving quite a lot, not to mention expending so much of her papers, and she had to reform her body. She was panting slightly. However, she was far from done. After all, she had to hold back as well in order to not reveal secrets that the world was not ready to know about her. This time though, Mito got back up, as they engaged each other in a taijutsu match as well. Once again, but this time, the match was not, well, too long. Mito was bruised and burned, despite some of the explosion being blocked, and she was already weakened. Not from chakra or anything because, well, she was a Uzumaki and not to mention she was a tail beast. But her body was badly wounded, and Mikasa went crazy. She released papers from her back like wings, before she spun. However, they were not normal. Mito jumped away as she kept on teleporting, but every time she landed, she got sliced. The papers were sharp as a blade. Mito got sliced up all over her body, despite her teleporting, which kept her on her feet, as she had to move fast. In a second, the next time she appeared, Mikasa did not stop as she stood in the center of the ring, releasing papers all over as they sliced and diced. When Mito finally appeared, she dropped to one knee. There were dozens of cuts all over her. Mikasa was also getting tired as well, as she started to pant. However, Mito was still not done yet, as her eyes turned red, as she started to tap into the Kyuubi's power, them being taught by their godfather, Jory of the Sanin, how to use a fraction of the beast's power, which she need for now. She never thought. As she looked up, her eyes red, glaring at Mikasa. I never thought I would have to go this far so soon, but I won't lose, Mito said. She then blurred forward before disappearing. Mikasa was knocked away by a brutal punch that sent her sailing. She regained her balance as she was kicked in the back. She flew forward as she regained her senses though. She jumped away from a bone-crushing kick that cracked the ground with tremendous force. The battle went on like that for a while, as Mikasa was now getting attacked, holding back herself, and not to mention, trying to keep up with this form was proving to be rather taxing, as Mito was using the fox power energizing herself. Her speed and teleportation has increased by a lot. However, Mikasa was planning as she got hit. Yes, she was planning big time. Mikasa started to slow down really badly because she had a move to make. A move that was a bit sacrificial, but, well, it would allow her to gain the victory. Separating papers from her every time she was attacked. Slowly but surely they blend into the ground, until the entire ground was made from her papers. Mito did not notice difference as she attacked. Mito kept on raining down relentless punches and kicks as she was about to pull out that jutsu, but She did not, decided to end this with physical blows. Before she could end it though, Mikasa raised her hand. Got you, she said. As she clenched her fists, Mito was trapped in a ball. Mito was shocked as she was trapped in a ball of paper that just swallowed her completely. What the hell? But when? The head of Mikasa appeared, on top of the ceiling looking down at her. You were too occupied thinking that you were kicking my ass. You should have been paying attention to your surroundings, said Mikasa as she wiped blood away from her mouth. You think this can hold me, said Mito, as she held out her hand. Let me show you how wrong you are. You fool. You cannot teleport out of here without seeing where you have to go, and I won't give you that chance. Several of the papers turned into small needles that shot forward. Mito tried to teleport, but she could only go that far. She was hit in several of her joints, right in her chakra points. The paper slammed deep into her. The chakra coursing through them caused it to malfunction the chakra that was in her system. The paper ball dispersed as Mito fell, crashing on the ground hard. Several papers sticking out of her body. She winced in pain as Mikasa stood over her. As Mito was in pain, as all of her chakra points were pierced. You deserve it, and much more, Mikasa said. Standing there, she had to sacrifice a lot to not show everything that she could do, sacrificing by holding back her quirks. Her mother was extremely proud of her. Her father was smiling as they glanced over towards her. She smiled back over towards them, as she was also taken to the infirmary as well, to get a checkup. She also took a beating, but Mito fell unconscious. As Mikato had to ensure, telling Kushina that everything will be fine, as Mikasa was announced the winner. The next fight was Sasuke versus Kankuro. That match did not last too long. Kankuro tapes just could not hold Sasuke. Sasuke blew them apart with pretty much ease. The match ended with Sasuke victorious, further boosting his ego. Naruto, who had watched the entire fight, saw look on Itachi's face. The father of Sasuke, Uchiha, Fukaku, did not show any emotion. However, Sasuke's big brother Itachi seemed to be sad. As Sasuke boasts, he drew the fight out just because he wanted the conflict and launch more pains on Kankuro to put him in his place. Itachi seemed to be saddened by that. For what reason, Naruto did not know. However, he said nothing until his name was finally called. Gaara, smirking the entire time, made his way down. As they finally arrived, up in the booth. Well, these have been some splendid fights so far. Raza spoke up. Yes, they have indeed, said Minato. I'm afraid that your son will not be able to come out on this one, winning the Hokage Dano, said Raza. Well, that is where our difference in opinions will show, because my son will win this. Quite confident, huh? Said Oniki, showing his disdain for Minato. Well, you will all see once this match has commenced. And what does that mean, the Raikage said. Just watch and see, said Minato, as Yagura chose to remain quiet, not saying anything. As majority of his shinobis had fallen out already, there was only one left. Kiri had been not so well in these matches so far. At least they make it to the finals though. If they did not, then he would have been sorely disappointed. Back down in the center of the arena, as Naruto arrived on the scene, Gaara stood there as Naruto's face was emotionless. Are the both of you ready? Mifune asked. The both of them nodded. Alright, begin! Mifune jumped away as Gaara stood there. Gaara did not even try to attack. So what? You're not ready to attack me, said Gaara. Go ahead, I'll give you the first shot. Use those whip against me. See if it will hurt. Go on, said Gaara as he extended his hand, trying to give Naruto a wide opening. However, Naruto did not move a muscle. He just stood there, as he then looked up towards the heavens. The cloudy sky, as the sun was not hot here. He then slowly exhaled as a cold breath came out of his mouth. As Naruto looked at Gaara dead in the eyes. You remember what I told you, said Naruto. Gaara snarled. And you remember what I told you? Fine then, I already gave you enough try. Now you die. Upon him saying that, he held his arm up as several bullets of sand split through the air. They move at incredible speeds as they tried to hit Naruto. However, there was a blur and the sand just dissipated before they reached him. Everyone gasped in confusion. Gaara himself was confused as he raised his hand once again. That is when the bullets were rather shot down again. That is when Gaara noticed a movement on the ground. How are you doing this? This can't be natural speed, as Naruto was somehow moving and yet returning back to the same position, in blinding speed. Up in the stands, where the Kages were located. What is this? Raza said. What is he doing? How is he disarming the sand bullets before they reach him, and returning back to the same position? That cannot be just speed, can it? The Raikage said. He was a man that was known for his speed, so he did not believe that was just raw speed. Having an electric quirk that was able to amplify the body, pushing his physical capabilities and his stamina, everything to the limit. He did not believe that was just normal speed. Minato simply smirked. What does it mean, of this, Hokage Dano? Said Yager as he looked towards the man. Watch and see and you will find out, said Minato. But as I said from before, my son will win, because he's quite special. As the Kages were alerted by that, knowing that something was off here as they focused intensely on the match. Up in the crowd, people were whispering, as they wondered what was going on. Naruto had yet to move, but he had disarmed all of Gaara's sand bullets. The frustrated Gaara slammed both of his fists into the ground, as the sand came out like a volcano, shocking in the air like a geyser. Naruto watched as all the sand came raining down on him. That is when he held his hand up. Upon holding his hand up, the air pressure that's released from his palm split the sand, bursting everything away, further shocking everyone as they saw him use another quirk. Whispering started to go around the people even more, as Gaara looked at him. What was that? As he noticed a tiny hole right in Naruto's palm. Naruto then placed his hand on the ground, releasing a violent air force that shook the entire ground. Gaara felt his feet go off balance, his mistake for taking his eyes off Naruto. The next thing he knew, as Naruto put his hand behind him, opening small miniature holes on his ankle as well, Naruto shot forward. The air force blasted him at blinding speeds that Gaara was not able to keep up. Naruto's fist came out and slammed right through his stomach, literally bursting through his body. However, Gaara started to smirk, as the smirk turned into a laugh. I don't know what you're doing, but still, you're no match for me, said Gaara, as his whole body was comprised of sand at the moment his quirk fully activated. And now you're mine. He wrapped his quirk around Naruto's sand, toiling and dancing around Naruto's body completely, intent on suffocating him. After all, they could kill here. They had all signed the form so they could enter the exam, and this exam was not one to shear them from the sights of death. The sand wrapped around Naruto tight, as everyone gasped. They were sure that he was gonna die right here and now, as they waited and watched. However, slowly but surely the sand started to freeze. Gaara stepped away in shock, his eyes widening. What is this? As a hand smashed right through it, shattering everything, as Naruto stepped out. He has more than one quirk. No, he has 4. The rumors start to go around. This child, said Raza. Your son has more than one quirk? As Minato did not answer, Oniki was frustrated. Time and time again, Konoha always had members that had quirks that was just out of the ordinary. However, was he born with more than one? Or, the Raikage narrowed his eyes. Everyone in the world knew what would be the most greatest quirk to ever exist for any nation to become stronger. He gasped, causing the others to turn towards him, seeing the frightening look on his face, as he couldn't believe it. He clenched his fist so tight, the chair that he was in, the handle started to bend. Your son has the ability to steal other quirks, doesn't he? The other Kages shot their gaze towards Minato. That's why you're so confident. That's why you have that damn smirk on your face, said the Raikage rather furiously. The other Kages could not believe it. Never in their generations they ever seen someone that can steal other people's quirks. People had tried in the past to do that, but they failed in every turn. But this child. Gaara was still confused as he looked towards Naruto. Enough, he said. It's time I end this. His body burst into sand and shot towards Naruto. Naruto jumped away, however his body separated into several sections, before they each start to fire giant sand bullets towards him. Flipping back, Naruto was able to gain a good enough distance before. His nails turned to claws as he proceeded to slice and dice, tearing through the sand as he rushed towards all the giant forms. Naruto flipped over a whip of sand that crushed the ground underneath him. Using his propeller that boosted him with the air force, Naruto appeared in mid-air before holding out his hand. Forming a gigantic spear of ice, Naruto launched it. It split through the sky and impaled that sand. Naruto then clenched his fist as the spear exploded outwards. Freezing the sand up, Naruto shot several towards the others. Gaara quickly reformed his body as he jumped away, frowning in anger. Seeing his sand and his whole body makeup being froze over like that, he could not allow that to touch him, otherwise he would be screwed. As Naruto appeared behind him, shocking him. What the hell? He turned as he blocked Naruto's fist the wall of sand. The wall then started to engross on Naruto's hand. However, Naruto's body burst right through it, using his yo-yo quirk as he slammed right into Gaara. Unprepared for this, Gaara was blasted as he crashed across the ground. Reappearing in mid-air, Naruto created a gigantic blade. The blade was almost quarter of the stadium, made from complete ice. Everyone was shocked at how quickly it formed. That goes to show how deadly serious Naruto was, as he brought the blade down to sever Gaara's legs. However, at the right moment, Gaara burst into sand and shot forward, weaving around the blade. Its fist came out as it reformed and slammed into Naruto's gut, throwing him back. The ice blade then broke apart, as the ice particles slowly fall. Gaara spread through the air like he was some kind of storm, racing down towards Naruto before he could fall. His body then twisted and turned into a tornado. The sand particles wrapped around Naruto as he was trapped inside. They tried to invade him, they tried to invade his body. However, they were slowing down. As Naruto had planned ahead, Gaara slowly reformed as he stepped away. What's going on, said Kankuro, watching the match, as he was in bandages. It's the ice, said Temari, seeing that the place had gotten incredibly cold. The sand was starting to slow down. Naruto started to fuse the sand particles with the ice particles by allowing them to mix together. Gaara looked toward his hand as it was unresponsive for a moment before his sand overtook it. Damn it, he said, as Naruto held his hand in the air, creating a giant wall of ice that shattered. Slowly but surely more ice particles rained down. I see, said Gaara. Every time I break my body apart, you will just fuse those damn particles with me, trying to freeze me from the inside out. As Naruto said nothing, Gaara lost his temper. Say something, he yelled. As Naruto still did not speak, Gaara rushed forward. As he met Naruto right in the dead center, he threw a fist as Naruto ducked underneath it. However, he was not sloppy in taijutsu as he spun. A brutal kick lashed out towards Naruto's face. However, Naruto blocked it with his claws, before grabbing Gaara's ankle and twist. Gaara cried out as Naruto slammed a brutal kick in his face. It's been a long time since he's felt pain, when the sound of his nose being shattered could be heard through the stadium as Gaara cried out in pain, blasting back as he slammed hard. Reaching up, Gaara touched his nose, seeing blood, being sheltered in a sense, being told that he was the greatest. Now to get hurt like this, he started to lose it. How dare you? How dare you do this to me, he said. Do you know who I am? Rage overtaking him. Anger had been destroyed so easily. He started to get mad as his eyes started to change into a shuriken-like pattern with black markings at each intersection. Rage in his eyes as sand exploded out of him. This was no normal sand though, mixed in with his own Gaara, sent the sand out as it was far more powerful than the particles of ice that Naruto was releasing. They actually swallowed them up and freeform once again. The sand came down on Naruto like a tidal wave, literally crushing him. Kushina's eyes went wide as she saw Naruto be flattened. Menma actually smirked at that. At least someone else got to him, he thought to himself. Mito was not here, she was still in the hospital. As Mikasa had came back, wrapped in a few bandages, but she was fine. She watched as Naruto got crushed, and her face showed a description of worry. However, as Gaara pulled back the sand that seemed to form into a giant arm, he waited. Once all the sand was pulled back, Gaara frowned as Naruto was standing there, his hand held up, both hands in fact as ice. An ice spear had formed around him, protecting him. Several cracks were around as Gaara brought the arm down again. The arm completely shattered it. This time people's eyes went wide, expecting to see blood. However, giant blue tentacles shot up, tearing as the electricity reduced sand particles to glass. Gaara stepped back in frustration as he was almost crushed by one of the tentacles. They were a lot bigger. Minato was surprised by that. Naruto has never allowed them to grow to this size before. It seems like he was pumping out a lot more chocolate than normal. Gaara, who was frustrated, glanced over as he brought his hand together, forming a spear made from nothing but his sand. The spear had red markings and golden markings wrapped around it. The edge was sharp. As he lifted up to eye level, using it to pierce Naruto's skull, that is what he was going to do with it, waiting for the right exact moment. However, Gaara was shocked when the spear ripped right through his arm. Blinking in shock and surprise, Gaara didn't know what to do, as Naruto had used his telekinesis to control it. Gaara having no idea he could do this. Blood started to drop down from Gaara's arm when another fist made contact with his nose. The pain was unbearable as Gaara staggered back. He had no choice but to break his body apart. However, Naruto snapped his finger as another large shard of ice exploded in mid-air, causing Gaara to slow down. Damn it, he says, he reformed. Gaara collapsed down on the ground as he was breathing rather coldly. You could see his breath as he was bleeding from the shoulder as well. He looked up as Naruto's feet slammed in his skull. Gaara's head smashed against the pavement as everyone winks. Naruto picked him up and slammed several brutal punches in his midsection before uppercutting him. Appearing above him as Naruto grabbed both of his legs with his tentacles, Naruto flipped with him, bringing him down as there was a colossal boom. Gaara's body completely shattered the center stadium. Lying there broken and battered, the sand slowly propping him up as it got him back to his feet. Gaara was dripping blood from his mouth. "You bastard," he said. "You're gonna pay for hurting me." As Naruto realized that he was nothing but a spoiled, arrogant child. "Is that all you have?" said Naruto, standing there, completely unharmed. "After all that big talk, is that all you can do? Even with that quirk of yours, you're still pathetic. You're nothing. You act like you're something, but you're not. You telling me that you won't want me to get embarrassed today? But look at you now. Look at where we stand." "You're pathetic," said Naruto to his face. "No, I'm not. I'm not," he screamed, drawing more power from the Tanuki. Gaara's body slowly started to be encompassed with sand until it grew and grew and grew. The people started to freak out and panic. Mifune appeared towards the Kage's box. However, Raza looked towards him. "I can inform you that my son is in complete control," Raza said. "However, if you would like to call the match in my son's favor, because he will no doubt win this match, I will not see the problem." "No," said Minato. "What?" said Mifune. "Do you really expect your son to?" I said no. "He'll be fine." Minato looked down towards Naruto. "He can do this." The other Kages looked towards him as they were happy to hear that. If this child were to die right here and now, it will solve their problems. Kushina was looking over towards Minato, trying to get his gaze, but he was not, actively trying not to look at her. As Mikasa started to panic, seeing the gigantic beast, Gaara had formed the body of the Shikaku, using the sand inside of him. Granted, he did not have complete control, but his father had ensured that he had a lot of control, mainly going to Leaf itself to get a better seal on Gaara when he was younger, seeing that he was his pride and joy. Not to mention, Gaara was able to actively tap on the Tanuki's power and use it whenever he wants because of how his seal was set. He was trained in it for years. Gaara was now high. Mifune, seeing what was said, went through hand sign before. He brought his hand down right on the edge. Gigantic barriers, blue barriers shot upwards, fully visible from the inside, but they protected the audience from anything that would go too far. This was a fight to the death. "So what now?" said Gaara, as he stood on top of the head, controlling the every movement of the tanuki. "Are you gonna give up? Are you gonna run?" he said. "Because you will die right here, and I won't allow you to escape." As he saw the barrier, "It seems like you won't be going anywhere." As Naruto stood there, looking up, hands in his pockets. "And who said I'll be running?" he said. Naruto bent his knees before applying the jets on the bottom of his feet. The force rocketed him straight up towards eye level. Naruto then shoot towards him. Gaara sent out hundreds of tentacles as Naruto weave and twist through them, dodging every single one of them before arriving on the face. However, Gaara would not allow that as Naruto was grabbed. Damn it. He was thrown like a bullet. Naruto's body slammed into the ground, destroying it. However, at last moment he applied the jet, allowing his body to slow down. However, the force of the jet had broke the ground. People thought that he was hurt, so they were surprised when he just blew out of the hole. Everyone was shocked by how powerful he was. Here was a kid taking on a tail beast. Menma was gripping the railing so tight, he almost popped it as he was angry. Beyond angry seeing Naruto doing this, he then glanced toward his father and saw how happy his father was. His mother looking worried for that brat, for that abomination's sake. He slammed his fist in the railing, caused the other opponents look at him. Mikasa just scoffed at him. Jealous brat, she thought to herself. As for Naruto, he dodged everything as he remained in mid-air, using the jets to keep him up there. But he would fall eventually though. As Gaara snarled before he opened his mouth, he then released a roar. The beast released a roar that spat sang an ear from its mouth. Naruto was blasted out of the sky. Gaara then grabbed him in a cocoon. "And now you die," he said, as he clenched his fists. The audience held their breath. They watched as blood seeped out of the cocoon. Kushina's eyes went wide. No, she said in shock, as she saw the blood dripping to the ground. The other Kage seemed to smile at that, as Minato was actually looking concerned. However, if he was concerned for his own son's sake or for the loss of this power, well, he would not say it. Gaara smirked as he stood there. Triumphantly, he had won. He could not lose, and he knew that. There was no way in hell that he could. Gaara looked down as he saw a gigantic spear of ice right through his chest. Not his heart, but the other side. Naruto stood on top of the head of the tanuki as he rested his arm on Gaara's shoulder. He held his hand out as the blood rushed from the blood clone that he had formed once he was blown down into the hole. The blood then rushed back into Naruto as he had played that perfectly. Slowly but surely the body of the sand beast started to crack apart as Naruto raised his fist and slammed it into Gaara's face, throwing him right into the body of the beast. Upon doing so, the both of them went inside. Falling inside the body of the beast, Naruto saw they were surrounded by sand. Naruto reached out and gripped Gaara by the face. Gaara tried to fight back, but he could not as black markings started to spread all over his body. As Naruto's smirk was increasing as he was stealing the quirk. However, being inside of the body of the tanuki that Gaara just formed, Gaara was able to use a quick move to blast Naruto in the stomach. Shit, Naruto thought as he was blasted through. The process was incomplete as Naruto collapsed down to the ground. Gaara fell as well in a heap. Damn it, Naruto thought as he looked towards his hand. Did it work? No, he needed more time. Slowly getting up, Naruto moved towards Gaara until Mifune arrived. "Stand down," he said. "It's over." Naruto gave him a look. "I said stand down," said Mifune. The look that Naruto gave him seemed like he was about to attack. That was until Minato arrived. "It's over," he said, looking at Naruto. "Don't jeopardize your position now." Naruto cursed in his mind, but he calmed down. Damn it, he thought to himself. He almost had him. But wait. What was this feeling, Naruto thought to himself. This was new, he thought. He said nothing as he made his way back towards the box. The medics coming up to him, but he told them that he was fine. Everyone watched him with a keen eye. Some had thought about the idea of him being able to steal quirks, but none had said it out loud. The Kages knew that was the case though. Their eyes focused on Naruto dangerously. Soon they will all know. As Naruto made his way back up to the box and sat down, slowly his wounds started to heal, all that he had suffered, which was not much. As for Gaara, he was rushed towards the medical center to quickly get treatment, as the ice in his chest had shattered, leaving a gaping hole. If he was not a Jinchuriki, he would have been dead. But he was not going to die. At least they hope. Temari was glaring at Naruto. Her glare was fearsome. A fearsome, deadly one. However, Naruto paid her no mind. If she tried to touch him, he would snap her neck so fast, she wouldn't like it. Well, because she would be dead. The brutality that he showed, no hesitation, as he was out to kill him, but he had to steal his quirk first. But that damn sand blast. As Naruto was announced the winner, it took some time for them to fix the stadium after that match. Once everything was said and done, the next fight was Hinata versus Kurosaki. While Kurosaki quirk was rather powerful, and not to mention the numbers were great, Hinata quirk was just too wide range, as she was able to overcome her with her water quirk. Once the rest of the matches went through and the first section was over, Naruto relaxed himself, as they were given 30 minutes until the next section was called. Moving on to the semifinals. Naruto did not really focus on who had passed through that much because he did not really care. The only one he wanted to fight was, well, his brother in the finals. He would like to beat the living crap out of him as well. He wanted to inflict pain on them. He wanted them to suffer. Death was too easy for them all, especially his father. Naruto made his way as he hid, going towards a secluded area, as his mother was looking for him. Arriving there, Naruto sat down as he held his hand up. Naruto's hand started to slowly break apart into sand. It then reformed as he clenched his fist and opened it back. He stole the quirk, but it felt strange. It was incomplete. Damn it, Naruto cursed to himself. However, he wondered what that meant for Gaara. Did he no longer have it, or did he have it? That led him to think. He always stole people's quirk when they were alive. He has never actively killed someone and tried to steal a quirk before, because he thought it would not work. The whole thing was focused on life essence, right? Chakra. However, what if that was not the case? What if he could steal the quirk of dead people? This was just a hypothesis in his head. Something that he was thinking, but he was not sure if it would actually work, because the chance of it work was almost less than 10%, seeing that the person's body would no longer have any chakra. However, if that was the case, if he could do this, there was someone that he would like to go after. His father had no idea how much he was going to come to regret all of his decision to tell Naruto everything, informing him of the burial spots of several of the greatest people to ever walk this earth, including the man that was said to be the greatest person, power that surpassed all other quirk users in maybe all other generation, and that was the first Hokage. The idea popped in Naruto's head. Soon, very soon, he would be leaving Konoha. However, there were several things that he needed. Well, to be exact, several quirks that he needed to take before Naruto spun around. Standing there was none other than Itachi Uchiha. How did he? Naruto blinked in shock, looking at the man that somehow found him, as he was confused. He had made sure to hide himself away, and yet this man had found him. Naruto watched him carefully as Itachi just looked at him. Naruto had noticed him looking at him, and there was a strange look on his face when he did. "What do you want?" said Naruto. "You tried to steal this quirk, didn't you?" Itachi said. "Yes, I did, but it failed," said Naruto. Naruto blinked in surprise, as he just told him that. But why? He didn't mean to. That is when he realized it had something to do with his quirk. "Why did I tell you that?" said Naruto. Itachi just looked at him rather amused. "I can see it in your eyes," Itachi said. "Your intentions are not good. You plan to do terrible things, don't you?" As Naruto watched him carefully, placing his hands behind his back, Naruto's nails started to extend, as he was planning on ripping his throat out to end his life. This person has been watching him, and Naruto never picked up on him once. "Tell me, you hate your father, don't you?" "Of course. I despise him. I want him to suffer." Naruto slammed a hand over his mouth. How are you doing this? He said. Itachi merely smirked. His tone did not seem threatening at all as he spoke. What about the village? Naruto opened his mouth until he bit hard on his lip. That made Itachi raise an eyebrow. You're resisting me, he said. Screw you, said Naruto. I won't answer your questions. You can't control me. Itachi's tone seemed to lighten even more. I'm not trying to, he said. I'm just trying to understand. Because you see, Naruto, I actually want to help you, Itachi said, as he smiled. In fact, you should know exactly what I can do and what I intend to offer you. But guys, let me end some right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.